to part 3 in my Jazz Blues lesson series. This lesson, I want to dive into a topic that's a little bit more contemporary than the last couple lessons have been. I want to talk about triad substitutions, and I personally think there's no better place to start than with triad pairs. Before I explain what a triad pair is, I just want to play you guys a clip from a solo by one of my favorite contemporary guitar players, Adam Rogers. This is him playing over an F blues. This clip is just the first 4 bars. I actually learned this solo for, I think, my first or second proficiency exam at Berkeley. And at the time, I had no idea what a triad substitution or a triad pair was. And then a couple months later, I had a teacher who was teaching me all this stuff, and I was practicing triads for a really long time. And then just really recently, I decided to listen to this solo again, which I had completely forgot how to play. And I started hearing all these really great triads and triad pairs and substitutions. And I realized that I totally missed out on all this stuff the first time I learned the solo. So I had to go back and I learned some of the stuff again, and I got a lot more out of it this time. So I just want to play you one clip of that. Here is Adam Rogers playing over the first 4 bars of an F blues. Now, what I didn't realize the first time I transcribed this solo was that in place of the F7 chord, Adam is just playing a bunch of different triad arpeggios. These are called substitutions, and they together produce a really nice, interesting F7 line. So the first one is G minor, which produces a sus sound. And then the second one, he goes to an F triad, which is, exactly the triad out of the F7 chord. And then he plays E flat and then F and then E flat again. And that back and forth between F and E flat is what is called a triad pair. And then he plays a D triad, which produces a 13 flat 9 sound. But anyway, that's not what this lesson is about. All right, now that you understand how Adam is thinking, playing these triads, I just want to play the clip for you one more time, because for me, what really got me wanting to use these was when I started to recognize them in other people's playing. When I first learned them, I wasn't really that interested because I just had a teacher show them to me, and I thought that's kind of cool, but I wasn't really fascinated. I wasn't hooked yet like I am now. And what hooked me was when I started to recognize it. When I started to hear Michael Brecker playing triads, and I started hearing Adam Rogers playing triads, and then I finally understood what the sound was, and then I got excited about it and started really practicing it. So here it is one more time, and then we'll move on. So a triad pair is a pair of 2 triads, obviously. And what you do with them is you go through all of the inversions, either ascending or descending, and it creates a nice line, either going up or down. Obviously, Adam is going down through the inversions in this example to create a really nice descending line. But I want to focus on this particular triad pair because it's probably the most common one. It's the one that I started with, and it's still the one that I use most if I'm playing a triad pair, and it's out of the modes of the major scale. It's almost certainly this one. So how did he derive this triad pair? What he did, or what I did to derive this triad pair, was first I figured out what key I'm in, like what major scale. So an F7 chord will take a Mixolydian sound, and then I realize, okay, I'm in the key of B flat major, and I take the 4 chord and the 5 chord from B flat major, which is E flat and F, and I played those 2 triads. So here I have written out that triad pair, I wrote out all the inversions for you so you can see them going up through the inversion. So this is going to be an ascending line, but you can also reverse it or play with the phrasing however you want to create, different lines in different directions. What I did to practice this first is I just played them straight through, going right up the neck. I wanted to give you these fingerings because I think they're really important because the guitar is so complicated, and these fingerings are actually pretty simple. I'm guessing that most guitar players already know these fingerings because they're just basic triads, but probably haven't put them together in this way before. So it will take some practice just to remember them up and down the neck. And then you would have to practice moving them around to different keys. But after a few keys, you start to see the pattern of how each of these fits into your scales. And they kind of become like little roadways through all of your sounds. So here's me improvising just some ideas with these two triads, all of it over an F7 vamp. Now here I have written out for you the triad pair that I use over the 4 chord, B flat 7, and the triads, it's the exact same derivation as the last one, so I won't go through it, but the triads are A flat and B flat. And after you get comfortable playing over an F7 vamp, this is the next key I would do so that you can play something over the 4 chord in the blues. Once you get comfortable with that, my personal next step would be to start mixing in some bebop lines and kind of try to incorporate them into your other sounds so that, of course, it's really cool to just play triads like Adam Rogers was doing. But in the intro of this video, you can also hear how Michael Brecker is mixing in his bebop lines and other concepts into his triads. And I think that creates a really cool effect too. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. If anyone's interested, I have more stuff I do with triad pairs than I'm covering in this video. I have an altered one and some other stuff, so just let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching.